Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome everyone to our September 16th, 2025 infrastructure meeting. I'd like to welcome those here in the audience and those that are watching us on TV. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to start by introducing everyone at the table. I'll start with myself. I'm David Banks. I'm the District 4 representative.
Thank you. Neil Dobler, District 7.
Councilwoman Sylvia Ortiz, District 3. Michelle Hofer, District 9.
Okay, thank you. First on our agenda today is certainly to call our meeting to order. Second is to get approval of the minutes from August 19, 2025 meeting.
Move approval.
Okay. Move's been made to approve. Need a second. Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes of the August 19th, 2025 meeting. And moving along our agenda, the motion has been made, seconded, and minutes have been accepted. So moving to item number 3 is presentation and discussion. Oh, all in favor of the motion made on the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Councilwoman. Okay. Item 3, presentations and discussion. Who's up to do?
That would be me.
Okay.
Dan, you have the white paper up there. We actually need the PowerPoint presentation to share. Yes, perfect. Thank you, Dan. At the request of the city manager, we engaged Development Strategies to do a cost-benefit analysis of the potential project for the KTA interchange at I-470 at basically 29th in California. And Andy will go through the presentation in terms of the economic benefits that potentially would accrue to the city if we were to do that interchange. Again, that project is in the currently proposed CIP that was put on pause until we get through the operating budget. It is currently in year 2030 of the CIP and has an estimated project cost of $19 million. And so, Andy, if you'd like to introduce yourself and go through the presentation.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, crystal clear.
Great. I'm Andy Feaster, Principal with Development Strategies, and just going to kind of walk through our findings and answer any questions you all may have. Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk really quickly through our study area. We looked at the development potential of this area and then calculated some fiscal and economic impacts to provide information to you all to make kind of the policy decisions that Braxton just described. Next, please. So we kind of looked at 3 different areas. One is a primary market area, and this would generate demand, most of the demand for uses in the primary and secondary impact areas. The primary impact area is the area around the interchange, proposed interchange. That would be most likely be where most of the development would occur. Especially impact or interchange influence development. The secondary impact area, there's still some like commercial development sites here that could benefit from an interchange. Next. One of the first things we did was kind of look at the physical analysis of the area. What are some of the opportunities and constraints? This map particularly shows flood zone. The red area here is you can't build on. The light blue areas you can build on, but need to do some engineering, so there could be some constraints and costs there. We also looked at site size, topography, ownership, and a number of other factors here to kind of determine what's possible, where development could occur. Next slide. This kind of shows some of the different areas and total land areas that could possibly be developed in the future. Again, there's caveats with some of those physical characteristics. Next. And we really tried to think through kind of if the interchange goes here, how would it impact these particularly adjacent sites? So the site 4, site 5, we do know that there is an older subdivision plat in the southeast corner here, 97.3 acres that could be impacted. Next, please. And we kind of tried to marry this physical site analysis with a market scan of what we know today about different market pressures in Topeka that could influence development potential in the impact areas. This is our summary. We think there is continued to be demand for housing, particularly new and reinvested housing. The hospitality and office markets are kind of challenged right now, and that could change over time. We're talking like 10, 15, 20 years down the road. We looked at a 25-year period to align with the different kind of funding tools. And we thought there's kind of moderate demand for retail. We've seen some reinvestment in this corridor. There's some key strengths in having Dillon's and Walmart and some of the other high visibility and high traffic users. Next, please. So the next kind of thing that we did was we took all this information to kind of think through, like, so what is reasonably possible over the next 25 years here, knowing some of those constraints and how the market is performing. We looked at in two different ways. One is market likely, and this is development we think would occur over time without the interchange. So this would happen kind of organically anyway. And then interchange driven is those uses that might come because the interchange kind of changes visibility and traffic patterns. Our research shows that interchanges in and of themselves aren't necessarily a major like economic driver creating kind of new activity, but they do change land uses, and they can do so. We think that would happen here mainly for those auto-oriented traffic dependent uses like a hotel, additional auto-oriented retail, et cetera, and could open up some opportunities for some more housing. So and from this point forward, we really focus on this total potential number of a couple multifamily projects, some additional retail, like kind of that service like doctor's office, banks, et cetera, and then a potential hotel down the road, down the line. And the next slide, please. We translated this development program into potential market value. So we start with like, what would this be worth today if we were completed today? And then we can start to calculate what those tax impacts are. Next slide, please. And so if this development program was built today, it would be worth about $63 million, which would translate into about $1.7 million each year in property tax revenue. The retail and hotel components would generate about $1.8 million in sales taxes. Again, this is if it's all built at once. This would be phased over many years, 25 years in fact, so it wouldn't all hit at once, but it would eventually be done and have this annual impact. Next, please. Really the next step in thinking through, okay, we know that there will be new development, or there's the potential for new development over the next 25 years. We know that will generate net new tax revenue that could be used to issue bonds and pay for part of this development. So the number we were working with was $18 million for the interchange construction, and that was based on it being done in 2028. I think Braxton mentioned $19 million in 2030, so that reflects some inflation to the number. But basically, when we phase the development over time, like I mentioned, a 25-year period, a hotel might occur in 12 or 15 years, so we have to account for that. We do a net present value analysis of the total revenue over 25 years, and that equaled about $16 million. And this is a number that investment bankers use when issuing bonds and municipal bonds, and they won't issue 100% of that amount because of risk and some other factors. So we estimated like the maximum bondable amount to be about $13 million because they hold some for, I just forgot like a reserve fund and then mitigate some risk. And so this is the maximum bondable amount. And you can see that it's not enough to cover the interchange costs, so there would have to be other funds brought to the table to make this happen. And another important caveat is that some of the development that would occur, they're going to request incentives. We know that California Crossings, there's a proposed redevelopment. They requested a CID and TIF, which would tie up some of the sales and property taxes. That then that net new revenue wouldn't be available to bond to pay for the interchange. So this is the maximum amount. Next, please.
Any questions?
The final aspect we looked at was economic impacts, and these measure like total output. They measure earnings and jobs supported by investments. So the spending, what we have here is the interchange construction. We have the total development program that we just summarized, and then the average annual impact of the operations of the new businesses in the impact areas. And a couple of things I want to highlight. There's a different interchange number here. We had to reduce that to $20 to $25. So please don't get hung up on that. There's just some inflation calculations there. But output means if I spend $17.3 million, how much economic activity will that generate in Shawnee County during the construction period? So that's buying from suppliers and just how the money cycles through the economy. Earnings is the payroll it will support, and jobs, that's total jobs supported, part-time, full-time, et cetera. So you can see here that the interchange would generate about $27 million in total impact in that construction year, support over 100 jobs. The development program, if it were finished today, that $63 million would generate a total of $100 million almost in the local economy. $32 million in wages and almost 500 jobs. So there are some positive economic impacts that the spending would generate that would be realized within Shawnee County. Next, please. Sorry. And, just a couple other considerations. We're looking at that 25-year period. Some of, increased traffic might require some additional improvements around 29th Street, which would be some additional cost potentially. Some of the land development, because of the site factors, topography and such, would be challenging and possibly costly. But this would generate some new revenue and some economic impacts for the city. That's my quick summary. Happy to answer any questions you all might have.
Any questions? Chair recognizes Councilwoman Ortiz.
Thank you. Braxton, this can be for you or whoever you lead it to. Remind me where this is going to be on the opening, because we talked like 3 different sites where we'd have the opening for the exchange. So remind me, did we have a final one, or are we still looking at the 3?
No, ma'am. We landed on the best option that was available, which is basically to have it be at the intersection of 29th and California to take advantage of the existing streets without having to build additional new road. And so that was the option that we landed on. Also because of the KTA moving to the cashless tolling, we were able to reduce the overall construction cost because we no longer had to have the very long roads leading to it to stack the vehicles on, because the actual tolling is done on the road. There would be an additional gantry that we would have to construct, but that is included in the project cost estimate.
Okay, so take me there. I'm a visual person, you gotta take me there. I'm right at the new grocery store that's going on. So is that right behind that? Because that 29th in California is to the north. No, east. But what I'm saying is, I'm at this, right,
Yeah, so California Crossing would actually be, if you headed north. If you headed, oh, go ahead.
So there's I-470, this is 29, this is the alignment that we landed on.
okay,
And then the lake is to the east.
To the east.
right, okay. Do I have this?
Yes.
If not, is it in here?
No.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
Yes. This was presented to the
I
government.
just know that we talked about 3 different
Yes, ma'am.
locations, and I've had people say, why did we do all the work on the fire station if they're gonna put in that, exit right there? And I'm like, I don't think we're gonna put it there. And so I just wanna make sure, Mr. Chair, that we are right on, spot on, so that people really understand, because this is a conversation that's been had for a while, and people are really looking for this to happen, but they wanna know how it's gonna happen and where it's gonna happen.
Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chair recognizes Councilman Dobler.
Thank you, Chair. I guess this is for the city manager. So this doesn't look like a great proposition, doesn't look like a slam dunk, if I'm reading the conclusions. Land development will be challenging, additional improvements. I think the numbers show us that we're not going to be able to pay for the interchange with the future revenues that are generated, particularly if we give incentives of any kind for development. What's your recommendation at this point? Is this something we need to invest in? Because we're talking $20 million that is hard to come by right now.
Councilman, I think the beauty of this project is that it's not programmed until 2030. So we have some time to go out and try to look to see what businesses might be interested in something like this. I think that if we get the right portfolio of retail, housing, et cetera, I think that there's opportunities for partnership, whether it be with KTA, whether it be with Shawnee County, because on the north side of 29th is actually there's Shawnee County property. It's county. It's outside city limits. It's kind of to the south of 29th is city, to the north of 29th is county. So I think that there's opportunities for us to partner. Again, if we get the right portfolio of businesses and housing opportunities.
Any indication from the KTA that they're willing to participate in this?
At this point, from what I understand, KTA's interest or earmarks is at the potential Auburn exit with the county. And so I think that if we come with the right package, I could see us being able to approach KCA and see if there's funding that they might be able to make available for this as well.
Any indication from the county that they are willing to participate with us?
So I'm not going to go on the record of anything of saying that the county is interested in that until we have something in writing. But I'll just say that I've been having discussions with folks.
Good enough. Thank you.
Sir.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Hope.
I got a couple questions. I'm looking at the page that says redevelopment sites, and I'm looking at the numbers. Where exactly is the fire station? Is that number 3? Or is it not a numbered one and right there next to where the interchange would be?
Fire Station 9 is going to be on the west side of the KTA, just on the southwest corner, if you, at 29th and KTA.
So it's between Turnpike and number 4.
This is going to be the fire station right
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure of. And then, make a note here. I had a question on the conclusions, and I'm not quite sure who to ask this one. It's talking about the estimated maximum bondable amount up to 80%. What is the 80%? Is that a limit that is by law, or is it based on the amount of, bonding capacity we have?
So let me take the first stab at that. The analysis that Mr. Feaster was talking about would be the analysis that a bank would use, or an investment advisor, if you were doing an IRB. So it's not going to be applicable to the city of Topeka, because they're not going to look at what the revenue is generating. So if the city of Topeka decided that it wanted to do this project, we would issue the bonds, and it would be based on our credit worthiness, our bond rating, as well as the amount of debt that we have issued. The analysis that Andy was talking about would be if it was an IRB, if it was a private party coming in to do this, looking at what the revenue was going to generate versus the cost of the project.
Okay,
Not
so
applicable to us.
we'd have the option to bond up, I hate to say it, 100%.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then it comes down to what our credit rating or bond ratings are, what kind of terms we would get.
Just like every single year when we go to issue our GO bonds.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because that didn't look right to me, and I wanted to confirm it. That's all I had.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion for Braxton or Andy? Okay. Thank you, Braxton. You good, Councilman?
I had to figure out where the fire department was.
If there is no other questions or discussion, we'll move on to number 4, action item A, capital improvement project. Okay, Nicole,
All right, good morning.
good morning.
I have a couple projects here for the utilities that are projects over $250,000 that were in front of you for approval this morning. Going to start with the Weir Crest cap. We did some previous improvements at the Weir in the Kansas River, which involved lowering the upstream water surface elevation, partially due to the removal of a stop log adjacent to the Weir. Since then, water treatment intake pumps are experiencing cavitation when water surface elevation of the river has been too low. This project will address the water level while maintaining the public safety improvements implemented through the previous project with the installation of a concrete crest cap adjacent to the Weir. This project will start this winter if approved and is scheduled to be complete prior to the end of March. Looking at a project budget of $800,000, and with that, I'll stand for any questions or ask for approval or recommendation.
Any questions for Nicole from the committee? Chair recognizes Councilman Dobler.
Thank you, Chair. Nicole, was that the surface elevation of the river and the the intake pump configuration not taken into account during the original design?
I don't know what happened with the original design, but I think something was off or misassumed.
Okay, yeah, maybe worth a look back at that, maybe not. There's no other questions, I'll move for approval.
Any other questions? Motion has been made, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Aye. Did I say aye?
I was waiting for you.
sorry.
Okay, motion carries 3-0.
Okay, the second project I have, if you are ready,
Ready.
is the Ferric Chloride tank system at the Oakland wastewater treatment plant. This work includes demolishing the existing tank, reconfiguring of the piping to allow both tank filling and ferric chloride delivery at the digesters, and relocating of the existing supply pumping system along with instrumentation and controls. These improvements will enhance system reliability, ensure safer chemical handling, and support more efficient digester operations. This one I just want to highlight is an excellent example of an improvement that will reduce our operating costs. We're currently seeing over $400,000 a year in ferric chloride chemical costs. With this improvement, that's going to be closer to 100 to 150. So we're going to see about $250,000 in savings is what is anticipated in our operating budget. So really excited to get this one going. With that, this has a project budget of $473,000. So we will see that pay for itself within 2 years is what we're expecting. Construction should take approximately 6 months after notice to proceed. And if you have any questions, or I'd ask for your recommendation.
Any questions for Nicole?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Thanks, Nicole.
Okay. We're at action item 4C. Hi, Steve. Thank you for coming.
This is a project that you saw once before this year, back on February 18th. It's a Menninger Road going west from Topeka Boulevard. Includes mill and overlay and the replacement of a reinforced concrete box. We did put that out for bids, which were open on July 2nd, and the bids came in 24% above estimate. So we went back, re-engineered the box. We did make a few other adjustments, and we're coming back to you for permission to get this back on the streets. We're hoping to get this approved by the PI committee and then the council so that we can get it out for bids yet this year to do construction over the winter when the water flow is lower on the creek. So we're looking for your approval to advance the process.
Any questions for Steve? Discussion?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Steve. Item number 5, Facility Improvement Repair Maintenance Program.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
so this item does not require approval, but this is just information only. We have 2 projects that we are requesting your endorsement on pursuing. One is a project at the Law Enforcement Center. So the recent change in command staff, this was a priority that they brought to us, that currently the employees at the Law Enforcement Center don't have secured parking, and they've requested that we put a security fence around the employee parking at that facility. We believe that that project would be estimated to cost $210,000, and we would use facilities improvement, repair, and maintenance spending to address that. Like I said, it's under $250,000, so it does not require formal approval, but if there's any objections, we want to make sure that you had an opportunity to review that. And obviously, if the bids come back higher than expected, we would come back to this body for approval. The second project that we are using those dollars for at this time would be to address some leaks at this building, the Holiday Building. We recently did some tuck pointing and waterproofing to the exterior of the building. Unfortunately, we have found that some of the drains on the exterior of the building are leaking into the facility. We had some water damage that occurred last spring. In order to make sure that doesn't happen again, we're going to need to replace some piping. And then we also have some planters on the exterior of the building that are leaking that we would like to get waterproofed as well. So those would be 2 projects. Again, no formal approval is required, but we wanted to make sure you're informed of how those dollars are being spent. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Ortiz.
Thank you. So the employee fence, I'm not going to support it this time, and I'll tell you why. When we had when we went through all that with George Floyd, I understood there was some uneasiness going on, unrest. But I feel like, I didn't like it then when our chief of police had asked for that. And I feel like now, I feel like things have calmed down. I think when we start fencing in things, I think we show that we're maybe uneasy, scared, or unsubtle. And I would just like to see us hold off on that, and especially at this particular time, that we're really looking at the budget. But that's my, I like the new chief that has come in, and I'd like to talk to him as well as Chief Avery. But I like them, and we're reaching out more to the community. We're trying to get on a positive note with them, a more opening. And I always felt like a fence was telling our people that we're scared of them, and I don't want that. And I want them to be invited and to come in. Now, I do know things happen, but I do also know that there's cameras at the LEC, and so that they can watch and see what's going on. But we've always had that open-ended, unless they can tell me, we've got all these major problems. That's what I would like to hear. Let's see, I did ask the tuck pointing, and I think Braxton, wherever he is, one time explained it to me, so I kind of understand that a little bit. So I would go along with that. That's my comments.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Holford.
My question's a little bit more about the fence. Where exactly would it be put or located around the facility? I mean, we're talking the whole way around or just a portion?
So the primarily design that we would be pursuing at this point would be on the west side of the structure. So currently at the Law Enforcement Center, there's entries off Kansas Avenue and there's entries off of 4th Street. The main entry for guests, the pedestrian entry, faces 4th Street. What we would be proposing is that you could still pull into the stoplight there at Quincy and 4th Street, and that's where visitors would park. That area would not be fenced. To the west, where the employees park their personal vehicles when they arrive for their shift, is the area that we would be proposing to fence in. So it would be from the southwest corner of the property, extending north, and then tying into the parking garage structure on the north side. We would still leave a pedestrian access for visitors to use the property room entrance. It's on the west side of the building. This would not exclude people from pulling into the guest parking in any way. They would not have to use an intercom to get into the parking areas. This would simply be for employees who arrive at the Law Enforcement Center, have a location to place their vehicles when they arrive for their shift, and ensure that their personal vehicles are not vandalized, disturbed, or interfered with in any way.
Are you looking at a gate on that west entrance?
So the proposal that we've been reviewing would be having a badge-operated gate that they would scan in when they enter and then also scan out when they leave, or be vehicle-operated, so it would open automatically as vehicles are exiting. In order to do that, we would make the primary entrance be off of 4th Street, and then the exit onto Kansas Avenue would be primarily an exit only, so that we don't have vehicles backing up on Kansas Avenue as they pull in and out at shift.
Okay, that was one of my questions, because sometimes it's hard to get in and out of that gate.
Certainly.
And would there be a gate somewhere, I guess, on the south end for them to come in?
Correct. So the entry would be on the south side. So employees would pull in off of 4th Street, immediately turn towards the west, proceed toward where that fence is on the west side of the property, and then scan their badge to get into the employee parking area.
And are we looking at a 6-foot tall fence, or what are we?
It would be a 6-foot tall fence. The
Chain
initial
link?
proposal would be a black coated chain link fence, but we would also be accepting submissions for any type of more decorative or aesthetically pleasing options, but we wanted to make sure that we understood the cost difference between those two options.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Any other? Chair recognizes Councilman Doberly.
How many incidents have there been in the employee parking in the last couple of years, as far as vandalism or anything like that?
I can't answer that specifically. I'd have to talk with the police staff about that issue. I do know there were some issues in 2020 with individuals gathering in the parking lot and using gravel or other pieces of the parking lot to throw at the building. But in terms of any specific incidents with employee vehicles, I'd have to ask them for that information.
Was that a one-time only incident, or did that happen on a regular basis?
I know that incident happened on a one-time only basis. I can't answer if there's been any other issues that have happened since then.
I think I'd like to see before I could support it, even though we're not voting on it, but I'd like to see some information on what's happened in the last 5 years since 2020.
I'll reach out to the police staff and make sure that they can provide that
Great.
information to you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Thank you. Moving on to 5, item B, Polk, Quincy.
This is the last minute addition to the agenda yesterday. The 2025 local consult with KDOT will be coming up here on Thursday, October 9th, starting at 9 a.m. at Menninger Conference Center. Public Works, once again, will be asking for support for the Polk Quincy Viaduct East project. We have budgeted $19 million as a placeholder in our 2028 CIP for this project. We just wanted to get this on the governing body and the committee's radar so that we're encouraging members of this committee and the governing body to attend the local consult to show support for this project and also give feedback to, apologize. And I'll start over then. The KDOT will be holding the 2025 local consult on Thursday, October 9th, starting at 9 a.m. at the Menninger Conference Center. Public Works, once again, will be asking for support for the PQV East project. We have budgeted $19 million as a placeholder in our 2028 CIP for this project. We're encouraging members of this committee and the governing body to attend, if possible, to lend support for this project. There'll also be other projects that KDOT will be proposing in this area. The list won't be released to the public until the day before, but we anticipate some work on the I-70 heading west from McVicker. That could be a corridor study. Also some work up Highway 24 up in the Oakland Expressway area I've heard could be as part of that list. We're also gonna, for informational reasons, we're gonna look at some improvements to the interchange at I-470 and Topeka Boulevard, where people come off 470 and approach Topeka Boulevard eastbound. And we'd like to have you there for support.
Any questions for Steve? Chair recognizes Councilman Dobler.
Thank you, Chair. Steve, what's the current state of the KDOT program? Are we talking about this being part of the Ike program?
Yes, this would be part of the Ike program.
And do you have any idea where that program stands right now as far as funding?
Not for funding. I know they're having some challenges, but I'm anticipating when they release the information for this meeting in a couple weeks, there'll be more, that'll be identified in that release.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Ortiz.
Thank you. Hey, Steve, who will get notified for this? I mean, on the residents? Will it be from, because that's a long stretch.
Yeah, Braxton, do you have any more information on that, or Brian? This is my first go-around with local consult.
So, historically, KDOT does not do a really good job of going out there, beating the bushes, trying to get the public. They will, of course, do their press release for it, but they don't reach out to the public, which is why we are taking this opportunity to talk to you guys to let you know that this is coming up. We can have Steve do a city press release, but then we thought that having the communication with you and with the governing body in terms of making sure that you're aware of this so that you can let your NIAs or other interested entities know.
And if I may, and that's great. The problem is a lot of the October, some of them have already been sent out their newsletters because they have to do it 30 days in advance. So the ones that are earlier in the month, we can do that. Their newsletters have already went out. And then the ones towards the end of the month, theirs isn't going to go out in time to do that. So we really need like a full month to put it in a month. We should be had it in September, and we've already lost track of that. So just remember that.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's why I'm asking. I can't put it in any of my NIAs, which which are in that district because their newsletters already went out for this month. So we need to really look at how we will do that. Whether we put it in the water bill, I mean, I don't know what you guys want to do. But I just want, that's what I'm asking. How are we going to notify people?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. We will brainstorm in terms of how we can do a better job next time around. I will tell you that KDOT really wants to hear from governing body members, right? Which is why we're having this conversation with you, to have you present at the local consult, because it does resonate with them when the governing body members are talking about the necessity of having the project, particularly in our case, because we have included it, the PQV East in the CIP, so that goes a long way to showing that we are interested. Generally, their ask is going to be for 10% of that project cost, which is how we came up with that $17 million amount that's the placeholder in the CIP. So, you know, obviously, this is truly just to get input from the public in terms of helping KDOT make a decision as to which projects they're going to select.
Okay, I'll do my best, but I'm sitting here thinking I have one more NIA for this month, and that's next Monday, and the rest of them I've already had for the east side. So I will reach out to, they're not going to have it's just not going to swing around in time. So this will go to the media, I'm sure, correct? But I'll do my best I can to reach out to the presidents, but just know it won't go to every household.
Yeah, there will be a press release that will come out beforehand, and we'll also be briefing the governing body at the October 7th meeting. So information will be
Okay,
out there.
Braxton. I'll try to remember when I go door to door.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Helper.
Okay, I got a couple questions. I went to the last one, which was very informative. What kind of timeline are we hoping this will be construction? And we've got it to 2028 CIP. Are we hoping it starts in, if we get the money, it starts in and runs for 2 years? Do we have an estimate?
Brian Armstrong with Bartlett West. We're designing the West project and have done some of the preliminary work on the East. So what you would be hoping for at the local consult would be for KDOT to add the East project into their development pipeline, which essentially funds the design portion and right-of-way acquisition of the East project. It's not until a future date that they would consider adding the construction funding to the project. I think best case, if they would add the project now to the development pipeline, you would get that started in 26. It's about probably a 3-year window to get final design, right-of-way acquisition, utility relocation stuff. And at that point, there's only 4 years left in the IKE program. KDOT's already working on what the next program looks like. I think kind of best timeline would be get it under design now so that you have it ready as they start to talk about projects that would be constructed early in the next program. They could, towards the end of this program, have construction money and start it in that 3 to 4 year timeline. The critical part, though, is getting it ready so that when if there is a bridge condition need, and there are bridge condition issues out there, especially the long Shunga Bridge, there's 6th, 8th, and 10th bridges, there's a BNSF bridge they hope to get rid of. If anything happens on on any of those bridges, it's hard to just break out a bridge and replace it. It's a holistic project that needs to be done together. So getting that under design and ready so that when KDOT has construction money available into this program or beginning of the next transportation program, that it would be able to be programmed and constructed then.
So best case, probably 2030.
I would think so. That's realistic. But if they don't get it under design, then that just pushes the construction timeline further in the future.
So we're looking at 2 years construction or 3?
I think it would be 2 years construction. I think this one, we would hope to keep at least one lane each direction open the whole time during construction. The trickiest part is the big bridge over Shunga. It needs about a 6-foot grade raise to meet the clearance for the railroad underneath. And so to build one 6 feet higher and keep traffic on the one right next to it at the same time is tricky, but we had a way to do that. So I think 2 years of construction, doing half, and then the other half the next year was what we were looking at.
Where's the east end? Is that Indiana approximately, or are we going up to the California Bridge for those exits?
No,
Go ahead.
there's a gap between California and the east end in there. It's not very far, though. The California Bridge will be done next year, along with the I-70 closure downtown.
But
Okay,
it's approximately Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana makes sense.
okay. And then, can we, before the October 9th meeting, get a short brief? I'm hoping by then you'd know what projects were on the list, so we'd know what else we might be talking about, because unlike last time, we went in and had no idea that McVicker to Auburn was going to be brought up. I'd like to go in a little bit better prepared.
I specifically asked when we'll get the list yesterday to KDOT and was told we will get it 24 hours before the meeting. So we won't get it till Wednesday, October 8th.
Even if we get the list.
Yep,
That would be
as soon as we
appreciated.
get it, we'll send it out to the governing body.
Okay,
But
thank
we
you.
won't have it for the council meeting more than likely on the 7th.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion for Steve or Braxton or Brian? Okay, thank you. Moving along, number 6 on our agenda is public comment. I don't have anyone signed up for public comment. Anything from you, city manager?
No, Chair. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you all for Councilwoman Ortiz.
I just want to comment real quick that I've been working Team Trower to death. I'm shooting out 2 and 3 emails a day, and I appreciate the team for that, for getting that stuff done immediately. It's important to me, and it's important to my constituents. Also, I did want to shout out real quick. If you go up by the soccer field, looking for your email here, Braxton, or your text, that road was done by, I'll get there, sorry. Sunflower Soccer, that road is awesome. Drove it up there, couldn't believe I was on the same road. So I want to thank Steve and Mark. Where are you at? Thank you. Where's Steve at? Steve and Mark, okay. I was thinking, I wasn't giving this Steve credit. Well, anyway, I wanted to thank Braxton and Steve and Mark for getting that done as well, because
Actually, our staff, Robert Bidwell and UV took the lead on that project. And they did a
well,
great job delivering
it's
it.
awesome. I when I was driving out there, I cannot believe nobody complained about it but me, but it's awesome. And now you know what lane you're supposed to be in, you know, so thank you, Braxton, for pushing that. And I just can't thank you guys enough, you know. I can shoot out orders, but it always means a lot to say thank you, so thank you.
Anything else to come before this committee? Our next scheduled meeting, October 21st, 2025. With that, this meeting is adjourned.